Welcome back everyone. You're watching the training week from July 7th, where the weekly focus was stoop halves. Did a lot of them this week. Like I mentioned, I schemed a layout Gaylord 2, and after the time off from TriStar Champs, our world's trial, I took I think a couple of weeks without any releases. So had some pad slides and reset with some forwards releases on high bar. Biggest highlight of the week, I actually connected stoop half to layout Gaylord 2 three times, I think. I think it was all in the second half of the week. Now I didn't catch, and like I mentioned, you're gonna see my feet skim or even smack, in one case, smack the bar. So pretty eventful and fun training week ahead. I am a few weeks behind, and man, I've just been a busy bee lately. There's a lot going on. So I think we're like 3 weeks behind, so can't remember everything as it happened, but I do my best to just kind of skim through the week before I make it, so that I kind of know what was going on. But for the most part, I'm just trying to get back into the swing of things after hurting my knee. So Monday was my usual get into it kind of day, and I started some basic landings today. So I started just doing simple back layouts from P-bar, and it feels okay to land up nice and high as long as I don't squat too deep. And Tuesday got right back into P-bar routine. So there you see, I'm being quite careful. Still don't want to put full pressure on my knee. Tested the waters there. So the Gaylord 2, I wanted to, story of my life, I'm always biting off more than I can chew, and for some reason it's always on high bar. I think because high bar is such a eye-catchy, geez, where did that come from? I didn't even, okay, I'm gonna have to go back and study that, fam, because that was like the real deal. And then we went downhill from there. But grip lock, so I discovered, thanks to the help of Will Allen, that if I put my hands too wide before entering the stoop, my grip locks up. And it was a replicable experiment. So every time I went a little bit closer, I was good. So lesson learned: if you do stoops and your grips are locking and you don't know why, don't go too wide on the entry. Turn your wrists plenty. Okay, so where was I? Yes, because high bar is such an eye-catching event. It's just an awesome event, right? Like in my head, like outside of the gym, here we go. First time connecting that. In my head outside the gym, I really find myself only thinking about high bar, dreaming about high bar, playing the gym high bar game. I don't really think about any other apps. Like high bar is just such a thrill. It's like you're on the roller coaster and you're in control of the roller coaster, and you can go wherever you want. And there's a pole to catch at the end of the tunnel, fam. So I'm always scheming more difficulty on high bar for one reason or another. And a layout Gaylord 2, it's only 0.1 more than a tuck, but later on in the future, if you do the connection, you're getting +2 for that connection. But as I discovered, it's going to be tough. The Gaylord 2 by itself, actually I should have included that in the highlights. I caught it on Friday by myself. So the Gaylord 2 is okay, but connecting it from the stoop half is currently beyond my capability. I would have to be very juicy and, just, again, isolate that part. And I thought, well, maybe I could just start my routine with stoop half layout Gaylord 2 so that I can actually make it happen. Then Pagan would be third, and the other skills would be even later. So maybe something for the future. But it was evident pretty quickly that stoop half layout Gaylord 2 is not going to be a short-term skill or sequence. It'll be a bit more long-term, so I'm going to have to put in more work and get that stoop half consistent. If only I could get them all just like we saw at the start. Which reminds me, just yesterday I gave I remember at coaching, like some of the boys were frustrated they couldn't fix some mistakes. And then I thought to myself, like fam, I've been doing stoop half since I was 15. I'm now 34. That's 19 years, fam. 19 years. Most of you probably aren't even 19 years old. I've been trying to get these stoop halves for longer than most athletes have been alive, and still to no avail. So some things you're gonna pick up fast, but other things, just, some people have a knack for them, some people don't. And counter to what people might think, I'm the type that actually most things I don't have a knack for. The things that I get quickly are slim to none. Like things that I'm reminded of, Gatson. I got Gatson in like less than an hour when I was a teenager, just during the holidays. Got it pretty quickly, but I never competed the full thing, So you can get something quickly, but it doesn't mean that you can immediately use it, even though you learned it fast. Gaylord I caught on like my second day trying it, so that was probably one thing that I learned quick. But again, you can see that I'm very limited. Pagan and Maris for me is much harder compared to how some other athletes do it. So there's always limitations to face. Now, so caught the Gaylord 2 on the Friday, and I think I was still working it the next week. And here's the construction that I thought of. I thought to do the Gaylord 2 after the Pagan. So Pagan, regular giant, Gaylord 2. You'll see me send that in the next training week, and I think I actually caught it. Pike Gaylord, stoop half, tucked Gaylord 2. So using both Gaylord 2s, that was my initial thought. So we're now adding a Gaylord 2 instead of a Stalder. So we're going from B to E, which gives 0.3. Pretty massive change just for 0.3, but whatever. That's, like I said, story of my life. Just trying to do the big tricks. Risk it for the biscuit. Risk trading his area and after shoulder operation. And I gave it one more week. And then I smacked my head on the ring right there. I smacked my head on the ring. And then I think I realized that I'm being a bit ambitious. No, that's not what I realized. What I realized was I tried Coleman. Did you see Coleman 97, fam? If you didn't see Coleman 97, watch it right now. I think it's one of my favorite Colemans, I gotta say. One of my favorite Colemans for sure, Coleman 97. So what I realized was Coleman is actually much easier for me than a Gaylord 2. The reason I wanted to do the Gaylord 2 was because I don't need to do any taps into it, and you catch in front giant grip, so I don't have to do the blind change. So pretty much I'm trying to save as many giants as possible, but on second thought, I haven't really had too many issues with routine fitness on high bar. I haven't really been so overwhelmed and gassed out at the end of a set that I can't land my double out full. So is this day one of the connection? I think this is day one where actually... No, we already saw me connected on Tuesday, didn't we? No, I shot hard, but crooked. Yeah, so after trying Coleman's last week, I decided that Coleman is actually a lot easier than Gaylord 2. So even though, I caught it relatively quickly, nice left leg splits, and actually I think I would have cleared the bar here. I skimmed the mat and smacked my forearms on the bar real good. That stung for like a week after. Had a big bruise and pain on my forearm bone. That was a nice distance there. So even though I caught it and did it relatively quickly, I reckon it's hard. It's hard. So that was try one on the Friday. And I've got so much more experience doing Coleman it's just more comfortable. It's more comfortable. Then you're gonna see me catch it here, but you know, check out the knees through the bottom. I'm kicking quite hard. Good thing I didn't try and connect there, would have smacked my legs on the bar, but you can see the knees are quite bent. That was a bit messy. The following week I did catch a pretty clean one, but again, after trying out the Coleman's, after a long time off, I don't remember the last time I trained Coleman's, you know, because after Pagan Coleman, when I was doing Pagan Coleman, and that was at the start of the year, I wasn't doing any Coleman's at all from the traditional tap. And just on the second day, I caught like 2 in a row, so I thought, yeah, Coleman's easier. Coleman for me is easier, and I started leaning away from the Gaylord 2. I've been doing a bit more triple backs as well into the pit, but fam, they are flying far, and again, probably not something that I can do short term. Look at that fam, smacking that heel. Hurt a bit, but not too bad. Not too bad. To be honest, the forearm smacks hurt more. So bent knees through the bottom there, smack. But promising for the future. You know, if that's week one, and you know, I take it specifically and train for it specifically, shouldn't be something outside of my reach. First day back to Pagans, probably after like a couple weeks, if my memory serves me right, without pad, and getting both hands on the bar. That was a neat one. Oh, that was pretty square. So it looks like I did 2 very good stoop halves. I mean, you can't call it very good because it's far from handstand, but you know, to be honest, most of the athletes that are doing Pagan Coleman, sorry, not Pagan Coleman, stoop, I'm still obsessed about it, stoop half Coleman, you don't see too many actually get the stoop half to handstand. It's almost more beneficial to just overdo the stoop half to create some momentum, because doing it without any momentum is, you know, obviously a bit harder. Put the mat, but just going way too early. Going way too early, pretty much clearing the mat. Pretty much clearing the mat, landing under the rings. And I'm trying to do the high bar dismounts at the end of the high bar sesh, because that replicates what happens in a routine setting. So inevitably I'm already kind of gassed before the triple, and of course it's going to be a bit weaker than it otherwise could be. But yeah, triple back 0.4 over double at full. So again, in the long term, probably the best value for your money. Yeah, so if I had that Coleman, same thing, Coleman and Gaylord 2, they're worth ease. So that's going to take out the Stalder, which I suck at anyway, especially at the end of a set. And you know, funny enough, Stalder hurts my shoulder. Avoided a nice little broken finger there. Stalder, funny enough, hurts on the entry. So let's just take that thing out. Put in a Coleman for a whole 0.3 more, fam. Let's risk the life for 0.3. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Every now and then they come out exactly the way you want it to. But the puzzle is, you gotta find out how. You gotta find out how it's happening. So then, the set would be Pagan, Kovacs tap, Coleman, blind change. I think that's where I would put the pike Gaylord. Because if I do the stoop half there after the Coleman and then the tucked Gaylord 2, then pike Gaylord would be what? 1, 2, blind change, 3, 4, 5th for pike Gaylord. Yeah, nah. Yeah, nah. I don't want to be doing that. Just not knowing where I am in a giant and trying to flip twice over the bar in a pike position and then catch the thing. No, thank you. So, Pagan, Kovacs tap, Coleman, blind change, pike Gaylord there. And that's a late stoop half for me, but you know, stoop half there, tucked Gaylord 2, Zoli, one arm giant, and then dismount. I think that's going to be the next routine. So that will take us to a 5.4, which is still a bit low for, you know, if we're talking like top start values in the world. I mean, you have your couple of outliers, a few outliers with high sixes, but fam, looks like we're out of time. So anyway, thank you for watching. All the best till next time. Next week, another Gaylord 2 week, and then you're going to see me transition to our beloved Coleman. Check out Coleman 97, favorite one so far. All the best till next time.